We've got a look at the trophy, what they're both playing for here today, and we're going to toss it out to the casters as the teams head into Champion Select.
Thank you very much. It is time for Rookie versus Faker, Invictus Gaming versus SK Telecom T1. And SKT's return to form started with winning the LCK once again. They'd taken some time off from being the most dominant team in Korea. They've gotten that one back. But winning the LCK is no longer the proof you're the best team in the world. Beating IG is the proof that you're the best team in the world, and the road starts here for SKT.
And SKT have been slowly building to a match like this, to a game against the world champions. They had to watch on, and Faker in particular had to watch on the sidelines. Every time Worlds goes to Korea, he's just going to be a stream viewer. But today, in MSI, he gets to battle Rookie, a battle that's happened so rarely since he joined IG. Just 2 games, and none of them in MSI or World.
And let's jump into this Champion Select, because this last ban from IG, so respectful. After Klid's Rek'Sai game today, absolutely dominating, they're gonna last ban the Rek'Sai. And as much as everyone has always wanted to see Faker versus Rookie, Ning and Klid have fought in the LPL, 2 of my favorite LPL junglers, because of how explosive they are and key components in setting up these solo laners. First flex pick of Rise does get through.
Oh! Tarek could be with the Sona. Tarek could just enable dives for Klid and the rest of SKT. That's even a little bit flexible right now, but already Champ Select looks spicy.
Faker with a bit of a smirk on his face. He was interviewed and talked about how other teams could play the off-meta stuff, the different stuff, like the Sona Tarek. That was the example he used. Tarek has already claimed, will it be Jackie Loves Draven as an answer?
Oh, I love this. Again, every time the Sona Tarek comes up, we talk about the 2 schools of thought with trying to take over this lane. Do you have a non-interactive one and go for roaming? Don't let the Sona get her procs on you, or do you go for the kills? And Draven, I think you know which school of thought that champion lies in.
It's Invictus Gaming. Of course they're going for the kills, Kobe. It's all they know. It's all they love. And it's Sona Tarek versus, you would have to imagine, Draven and Nautilus.
They have locked it in. If SKT does get out of the landing phase without dying and giving over adoration stacks, they've got all the support they need to let Faker and Duke and Khan pop off in these team fights. The Aurelia gonna get the shields, gonna get the invulnerability. She can do a lot of work later on in these team fights, but as you mentioned, it's that bot lane, it's the spiciness. Nautilus and Draven gonna look for those kills on Sona.
And we're gonna have to be on top of our game, because gentlemen, 2 games in a row, we had those non-interactive bot lanes. We told all the viewers, watch top side, it's Ezreal Tahm Kench, it's gonna be a farm phase. This is the sort of bot lane that is gonna draw attention on both sides.
Draven just shouts, look at me, and you better be here if you're the jungler, because there's so much possibility of snowballing off this bottom side. If Draven Nautilus does not get early kills, does not cash in on the Draven passive, then once again, the inevitable Sona Tarek team fight comes to fruition in the mid game.
That's the word I would use. The inevitability of where Khan and you would imagine Khan on this area, but Aurelia, Tarek, and Sona go is very much team fight and specifically Baron control. The vision comes down, you got more vision, more team fight synergy. We'll see how the second round can go as SKT probably looking to the jungle.
Oh, gotta wait to see. Of course, we want to keep the other champion flexible, but Silas is, of course, still up throughout the first 6 picks and 10 bans, so Aurelia and Silas gonna be the pickups there. Again, well supported to run around in these teamfights with all the shields and vulnerability. This comp will work well in the 5-on-5s. We will wait to see their jungler, as IG will grab Ning's champion first, but also now knowing where those solo laners are, we get to look at the Shy on something aggressive to win those lane matchups. However, Renekton maybe instead of Kennen.
All right, Kennen with the on hit definitely has a huge potential to take over on the top side. We've seen the emergence of the Gunblade build as well, so you can still have the big AP effect later on in the game. But again, we're saving the jungler picks until last pick. This is why I was so hyped for this matchup here. The choices that go into how you're going to play out this game, now that there is a Sona Tarek versus Draven bottom lane, Ning's going to bring back the Camille after she has been all but eliminated from the jungle by the nerfs to not being able to stun jungle camps.
She's been nerfed for farming, but she's still damn good at killing. So bot side Camille control is implied. The Lee Sin, the comfort for Klid is still up.
This is absolutely insane, the draft that we're getting in this game. We're going to gonna have Ning on his Camille. Will he use his skin? He's gonna be such a big difference maker. Can he snowball the Draven, get those adoration stacks going, or will Clid once again dominate?
And level 1 here is so important. SKT's level 1 plan, make Camille's jungle path predictable. If it is unknown, yes, we do predict bot side, but level 2 Camille's gonna be finding a lane that she likes to look up.
Now, these are the matchups you're going to see on screen. I don't expect any more movements here from these sides. Going to be such an exciting battle. Invictus Gaming, the best team in the world. SK Telecom Team 1, the best team of all time. I think that is undisputable right now. SKT, top 2 team coming into the tournament. They did fall to G2, but you can turn some heads right now with a win right here. Rookie always said, I have to take down Faker to prove that I am the best. A tournament's not the same without Faker and SKT being here. Well, this MSI, Faker and SKT are in your way, IG, and so far they have not dropped a single game. SKT, the next team in front of them here, the one team that stops them from being 4-0 to continue that proof that IG are the best in the world.
Tournament of Champions, and now we're gonna have the clash that everyone was waiting for. Group stages, a single best of 1, SKT versus IG.
Two of the best teams in the world, defending world champions Invictus Gaming and SKT, the historical best team of all time, piloted still by Faker in the mid lane, the best player of all time, and no one would ever dispute you on that. And level 1 already spicy, but the hook not yet going to land. There might be a re-engage already, a stun, and the fight has continued.
We're doing it!
Damage output, Rookie's already dead. Clint finds the first. They're traded back. Some adoration for Draven, but the fight might continue as Ning's got to run away. Some damage out towards Battleland, the flash over, and the flash over for another one. As TP rejoins the fight, and Rookie is back in action.
Teleport already used. You can tell these players are on the edges of their seats. IG tries to check the bush, but here they go again. They get the snare.
He's on the edge of his life now as well, down to 300, flashing back to his mid lane, and this game is not disappointing.
Guess what? Draven got the kill for Invictus Gaming. Meanwhile, Clid on the Lee Sin gets SK Telecom's early gold. I honestly think that both teams are kind of happy with where that money went.
And the reason why IG keep this up, we'll get to that though, we'll focus on the start. The blind hook misses, and then the double dazzle heralds the first blood. It goes the way of SKT, but Sona, in the meanwhile, is just so brittle at level 1.
Yep, flash used as well, so Teddy will not have either summoner, nor will Nautilus on the bottom side. Then both Faker and Balon switching spots there.
So the reason why IG keeps on the invade is they want to take over the bot side of the map. There's vertical jungling where Sona and Taric don't have their jungler bot side, with summoners down. That means that Draven can do things like this.
No items purchased for either Lee Sin or Draven, but Balon playing aggressively in the bottom side does go in for that hook. They're really trying to take advantage of this matchup.
Oh, stuns down for Faker to land the stun though for Ning is plenty of damage in a rune prison, and Ning claps back the mid lane.
And that's the extended benefit. They invade the blue side jungle. They know that SKT has no idea when Ning kicks it off, and Ning kicks it off with another gank.
And that is the exact reason he's got the skin he's using now. Ning, the level 2 red buff into gank, targeting Faker. Greatest player of all time, down.
We got a moment to breathe, but not much more than that, as there's already a fight in the jungle. Clid drops a bit low as well, takes plenty of damage to the hands of Ning. Can't go get the kill, but puts down a 200 HP and forces an early recall out of Lee Sin. Now stuck inside no man's land. I don't know if this dive is going to be easy. Aftershock should be available. Baolan can pull aggro, and he's going to look in for Teddy. Plenty of damage there. Draven free hitting. Here comes Clid, though. Looks to answer one back. The health bar's low. Clid does indeed knock down Ning, but Draven finds yet another. It's 2 kills to 1. Invictus winning yet another fight, and Matza a bit alone, but the health bar is so low, it's just an auto attack, and then out goes IG.
Yeah, Jackie Love and Baolan, I think they're a little bit too low to finish off a continued dive there, but the objective is completed. They take him down, and now it's like Faker again.
Faker, a Q would kill him. Oh, he's going to get up and walk away from this one. The turret was going to push back Rookie, but this game is still fighting constantly. 1,100 gold puts IG ahead.
And this is why it's so bold to pick Sona Taric, a lane that can't brawl early against IG, the early game powerhouses. We watched the replay here. They hit the stun, but Clid does stick around.
Yeah, he's going to try and come down. Does get the extra kill there. Jackie Love flashes for the second kill there on Draven. Cashes in a tiny bit more. I don't think he's been catching that many axes in the meantime, but the bigger reward, double buffs down there in the bottom side against no flash Sona, no flash Taric.
And I want to draw the viewers' attention to an important piece of information that may have gone missed. There's never been a Sona Taric game played professionally with a Korean team in it. There was no games in the promotion tournament, no games in the final, and the word was that even in scrims, Korean teams weren't playing Sona Taric, so the first look we see is SKT locking it in against IG. Definitely give yourselves a handicap in the early game, and IG already super bloodthirsty.
BF sword at 4 minutes makes for good laning phases right now. And keep in mind, in a matchup like this with Sona Taric, you track the 80 carry on the one side, Jackie Love, for support on the other. And another stun now on towards Faker. The friends have arrived. He does not have a good way out. And Camp Faker, population 3. As another kill comes through, a 30 CS Aurelia is dead.
Yeah, I mean, you understand why the Sona Taric would want to leave that lane, but Baolan also says, you know what? I can roam as well. He didn't even have that much impact here. It's Ning again on his signature Camille, goes in, camping mid, gets the stun onto Faker. Jackie Love has pushed up the bottom lane in the meantime.
And they're finding yet another entrance, got more kills and assists than minutes in the game, and now number 6, and they give it over to Jackie Love on a killing spree 5 minutes in. They are slaughtering through the jungle matchup.
There's nowhere safe for Sona and Taric to go. They're in proxy between minion waves as they try to get there. Jackie Love gonna get free time on the bot side. A couple of shops later, Sona hasn't even upgraded her GP10 item.
I gotta say, a lot of junglers stopped using Camille after the nerfs. Like you admittedly said, were mostly targeted at farming. Ning is not farming jungle monsters. Ning is farming champions, constantly getting these engages, landing the stuns for his teammates, and now IG set up for tremendous success only 5.5 minutes into the game.
More kills than minutes, always a great sign for an LPL team, and IG firing on all cylinders. The Shy maybe not going to be a major factor in this one. Maybe the best player in the world.
Free.
He's not as important. Yeah, poor bot lane for SKT. It's level 5 and 4 versus 4 and 3. They've got an XP lead. They've got Ning coming by for round number 4 down here. You got to be careful if you're Mata and Teddy. Faker now laning bot lane. Just make sure they can get 2 CS. As Mata has found number 11. He was on 10 2 minutes ago.
And it's just that. Faker being there doesn't even allow them any safety. The tower's still going to go down. IG are not only going to get those mid plates, but also in the mid lane, Rookie has been able to push up those minions, and Clid was the only one left to defend. He can't stop the rise pressure either. This is absolute domination from the defending world champions.
There's 4 control wards on the bot side. That's why you have to take the longest way around. It's a trios lane in the bot lane, not a duo lane, whether it's jungler or Faker rotating through, but it doesn't change anything. Bot lane win is inevitable, and the timer on Teddy and Mata having their items together is so far away. Mata, as you say, the champion picking up CS, he's been on 11 for a couple of minutes.
This is one of those games where the top laners are both like, question mark, what's going on, guys? They don't have too much to say about this game, just farming on the top side. Meanwhile, IG just completely sweeping the map on the bottom.
And coming into the tournament, people called Teddy and Mata maybe the best bot lane in the world. And right now, they are being handily dismantled by Jackie Love Baolan and, of course, these roams from Ning. Now, yes, the first blood came through very early on, or at least the Adoration first kill during level 1, but didn't shop with that. It was several kills in that he got his BF.
Party time!
More partying towards Faker, gonna find himself a stun and a flash over the wall, nearly anchor tossed anyway, and Ning flashing for it regardless. They're gonna have the root, they're gonna have plenty of damage, but you've got Clid here, gonna find some damage, but not enough as another kill comes in at 7-2. 100% KP for Ning. Now a fight in the top lane, trading, slicing maelstroms, but the Shy getting the better of that trade.
Yep, Baolan gonna take a visit as well, comes over in wards, but Khan will be able to slip out. And once again, Ning flashing for it this time around, forces the engage onto Faker, and they get the kill once again.
There's over a 5,000 gold lead, and we're 8 minutes in the game. IG is threatening to just roll over the top of them before the turret plates go down.
1,900 gold on either bot laner there, less than everyone else in this game. SKT is Clid. Actually, should be able to... Yeah, Ning seems to have come out, not going to find the ward up into the queue, so he's going to stay alive on this one. As an Ocean Drake makes the landing phase even easier for an IG that's already ahead. Now Baolan found out, does have a level deficit here, finds the aftershock, nice kick, puts him right in the face of Khan, but the damage could be a little bit high. Look at how low this poor Sylas is. The anchor toss, if it's up in a second, I'm not gonna have it just yet. Dredgeline won't find a target, but now Rookie walking through a ward. He's spotted over here as the bot lane keeps pushing in. Faker could look for a bit of a battle against Jackie Love despite his level deficit. Doesn't have nearly as many items. Bloodthirster completed makes that pretty easy.
Yeah, that's actually insane. Level 7 Draven with Bloodthirster on top side though.
I know what you're doing, boy.
4v3, not gonna find the stun. Teddy flashing over the wall, gets a bit of damage, but no. Even with better numbers, SKT can't find that fight at all.
Yeah, it's gonna be completely in IG's favor. Bottom side, the Draven just abusing Faker here.
Got a full Bloodthirster. He can just sustain through any all-in attempts from Faker. The lane assignments here are so flexible, but for SKT, they're just desperately trying to find any sense of equality around the map.
It's gonna be hard to do. This turret now down about half HP. A single trinket ward keeps him pretty safe, but I think they saw Teddy come down with that control ward, and well, we've got a quick intermission here. Invictus Gaming just slaughtering. We're not even 10 minutes in, and it's 19K to 13.5.
I still think it's just so cool that Ning is doing this back on the Camille, that Riot devs themselves made an effort to remove from the jungle and make purely a top lane champion, but he's gonna say this is still my champion, and he's gonna make it work in such a snowbally fashion. Remember that Camille doesn't have a lot of fallback patterns now in the jungle. If it doesn't look like this and snowball very effectively ahead, you don't land those stuns, then you can get punished so heavily for this. So it definitely does take a lot of confidence to be able to do something like
It's
that.
almost like a roam pick rather than a purely jungle pick, because the clear of the jungle was irrelevant, very secondary consideration in this game. It was purely to punish what Sona and Taric represent. Very much a white flag in the early game. We're farming out in our awkward fashion with melee range Taric and Sona stacking up the spell face in that fashion that she does, poking around. That never could happen this game. They were proxied off minion waves for so long. And yes, it really only works for some, but when you have a game plan with Camille, her gank threat at level 2 onwards is undeniable.
Definitely very strong. Of course, talking about those changes to Camille from way back when, it was removing the stun onto jungle monsters, somewhat regionally gained some base attack speed to keep her clear a little bit better, to soften that slightly, but as you mentioned, very few players are playing the champion.
And that basic attack speed that was given back was actually nerfed previously to that during the original nerfs as well, so it wasn't like an extra bunch of power added on.
Regardless, you can see here it was a pause on, it looks like for Mata, it was definitely SKT's side, talking with the refs, getting translation and seeing exactly what's going on here with this. Hopefully doesn't take too much longer, but when we have a further update, that will be delivered to you. The plan for IG, even though the Shy maybe has a run for best player in the world overall right now, maybe even above Rookie, above Faker, above all these other players, this game is very clearly not about him anymore. They saw that Taric pickup at the end of that first phase of the draft. They said, okay, this game is about bottom lane right now. Pick up the Draven, pick up the Nautilus. Round 2, we'll pick up that Camille, and we're going to kill those champions.
Yeah, I would say top lane is the only lane that this game is not about, because mid lane also dominating here. It was the level 2 gank towards mid with the Rise Rune Prison that started everything off.
And lanes in general are so flexible right now because Sona Taric aren't going bot anytime soon. They need somewhere, a short lane, a safe lane. They need some ward coverage, and they couldn't find that in the bot lane from very, very early. It feels like we should pat ourselves on the back. We said watch bot side, and there's been just a huge amount of kills there. You can see the end result with the pause at 934. We're looking at around 5,500 gold lead. IG just want to keep the pedal to the metal. They want to keep going It's a big shop already. I believe Warrior Enchant's already done for the Camille. They want to just continue to bulldoze through.
And guess what? With this much money, you can buy a very nice car to keep that pedal to the metal.
Say a very nice bulldozer, honestly. You talk about that one. They've got, you know, an upgraded engine and all the spoilers tagged on it as well. You mentioned the aggression coming out here, and I want to kind of commend Ning's sort of adaptation. Yes, the plan was probably coming in about bot lane, but Faker burned Flash during the level 1. They knew he was a target up until 7 minutes into the game, so as long as you have Rune Prison by level 2, walks over there is no way out for the Aurelia, who's missing a Flash and is going to get Rune Prison into Camille stun into taking 700 damage.
If you think about a game where lots of summoners are down level 1, Flashes in particular, and you think, who are champions that can punish that? Camille is the number 1. And as we explained, the flow-on effect of that early brawl was there's no deep vision on either side. No one knew Camille where she would start, and she knew all the lanes that were set up for her to punish. So there was actually the level 1 brawl. With the first blood, you might be baited into thinking, okay, SKT, a bit of gold onto some of their scalers, they'll get there easier. No, the immediate impact was punished, and by the 5-minute flash cooldowns later, a lot of this game was already won by IG.
Yeah, it was actually the perfect level 1 with mid and bottoms flashes being used early. Easy target. He did such a good job, though, of also finding Clid in the jungle to harass him out first, so there wasn't any sort of turnaround. And that has brought us to this 9.5-minute mark, where now we're sitting in a situation where Invictus Gaming, undefeated currently, and the huge lead over SKT means that, as people predicted, this is 100% the team to beat at the tournament. The defending world champions absolutely dominating.
I mean, we have the benefit of a pause screen that actually has the items at the moment on. And so at 9:34, as we noted already in the trades, Draven has a Bloodthirster and boots. For comparison, Khan, who's been happily farming, has a Ruby Crystal, boots, and a Dark Seal. Compared to a finished Bloodthirster on the enemy AD carry, he's the only person above 100 CS as well, is the Draven. Like right now, this game state, you want to just take a picture of it and remember it, because there'll probably never be a game quite like SKT versus IG in this best of 1.
It's going to be unlikely to find something this good this early on. Either way, while League officials are investigating the issue on stage, we're going to check in with the analyst as we take a look at a replay of this kill in the bottom lane. You can see plenty of damage in, and even if you didn't have any summoners up, of course, those were also burned.
Thank you very much, Freak. I believe that's a replay we'll be looking at a little bit later. I'm Quickshot, joined here by Raz and Azael. We were getting ourselves ready for MSI cooldown before the technical pause came in, and while the officials are taking a look at the PC, we can chat about the first 10 minutes of gameplay. Invictus Gaming, 5,500 gold up. They're just styling on SKT, and Azael, like, you know, this is just IG making a statement.
Yeah, I mean, they said you're never going to see another game like this. My old FlexU team ran into TSM one time. It looked a little bit like that, you know? We got stomped pretty hard too, but I think it's just insane how dominant IG are looking. And when you compare how they were playing here to how they played in playoffs and how they played in knockouts at the world stages, it almost just feels like they're just having fun. Like they are not always playing the cleanest of games. They're willing to take every single fight, but they're dominating despite it. No matter how messy these games get, they still seem to be taking control. I mean, there are things where I just don't think Rookie would be doing it if he was really taking it, you know, the most serious, the most hardcore play to win. Like level 1, they get the first blood, he dies, he TP's back in while it's still level 1. What are you going to do in that fight? You're not even going to be able to rejoin. And then against TL, when he's TPing in on the Akali at 30% health with no ult and trying to kill Doublelift.
Thing is, though, I am hearing the players are busy going through ready checks. So, Raz, like, are you surprised by this bravado that Invictus are showing? They are 3-0 up, and they're still winning games despite the haphazard calls.
Oh, not at all. Like, best of 1s, you learn the most off of that as well. And they're the type of players that they are so confident in their own capabilities. When they see Sona target, we haven't seen Sona target at all in the LPL. Like, while the rest of the world are going for it, in the LPL, we have our options like the Leona and the bot side of the map. This time around, you're going up against IG, and you have a Draven one trick of the past. It's like, why not, right? So, especially off of that level 1 where Draven gets that first kill, they just look for the immediate dive in the bottom side of the map because the Camille was ready for that.
I guess the thing that I want to point out is that, yes, I agree that the decisions they're making are unequivocally bad. However...
So at times, only...
At times, like, you know, like you said, teleporting in at level 1 after you've died, or TPing in to chase Doublelift when you have 30% HP with no ultimate. Those are bad calls.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, when you step back, when they are undefeated in the group and they're still winning the games, like, how much pressure do we put there, Azael?
I mean, I just think they have so much confidence that they can play their way out of any situation, essentially, right? They have so many individually talented players that they are willing to take fights in these scenarios.
Azael, they are willing to take fights. We're going to head back to the casters as we're back in game.
Thank you very much, analysts, for buying time for us. We had apparently a quick freeze on Mata's computer. League officials decided that did not affect the flow of gameplay, so they play through despite that happening. And we are, of course, now back onto the Rift here. And if you're just joining us, you missed an exciting first 10 minutes. Invictus Gaming came out swinging. Technically, SKT did get first blood, but IG answered back hard with kills in the mid lane, kills in the bottom lane, and a 9-minute bloodthirster on a Draven.
Yeah, honestly, it was ridiculous. The bottom turret also taken pre-10 minutes there by Invictus Gaming. Every single plate going to the Draven. We saw him almost threatening to dive Faker's Aurelia under the tier 2 pre-9 minutes.
I got good news. The almost are now definites because he added another BF sword on his next back. So at this point, you play internal mind games like how many Whirling Axes kill a Sona? Probably 2 or 3. This is insanely strong Draven, and while we've talked about the scaling of SKT's comp, when you have this much of an interrupt on specifically Sona and Taric, who kind of have to get the game flow in their hands, it may never happen in this game, and it feels like the scaling is almost a point not worth discussing.
Nowhere is safe, really. You always have to worry about the long range of the Camille engage, and that stun duration is long enough for either the Draven or the Ryze to 100% to 0 any member of SK Telecom.
I ran the math, by the way. It would take 4 auto attacks. 4 empowered auto attacks. If Teddy didn't have armor, it would only be 2. But he's got 62 armor. It would just barely take 4 until more scaling comes in.
It's the little victories, I guess.
You'll survive 3 if you're full health. So Teddy, you got him. Knock him dead, buddy. Still, of course, an incredible start for IG. 6,500 gold up. Look at the leads right here. The Sight Stone's starting to be completed pretty soon. And we can see now, as the rotation comes into mid lane, who's going to defend this turret. They're going to try, but they've got to be afraid.
We can call it defense technically, as they're trying to kill the minions, but JackeyLove's still getting the auto attacks on the turret.
Yep. Presses W, Bloodrush gets away from the stun, and the autos keep coming in. 227 attack damage on him. Just chunks these things down.
When we moused over the gold totals, there's a 4,800 gold lead just on the duo lane of the two teams.
I want to actually track this speed run, because this could be the fastest game of an international tournament, and it's between SK Telecom and Invictus Gaming. It's actually insane. There's an Infernal Drake that is coming to speed this game along even more. Currently, they're running straight down mid with the Rift Herald, though, and they're not stopping.
Looking at an inhibitor at 22 minutes. I have seen an SKT versus China game with inhibitors dying this early. It was SKT's first World Championship. Now looking around 2. Rookie flashing away. Terra ulti is on there, invulnerable, but is there any damage to be had? The Shy builds in space in the back line, and a single kill does come through, but it's answered by Draven. Looks for number 2, gets it onto him as well. It's a 2-for-2 fight overall. SKT get a couple of bits of gold here, but they're champions with only assists. They're not shut down. It's going to be a dead inhibitor at 13 minutes in with a 5-kill Draven just rolling in adoration and rolling in money.
Yeah, nice to see SK Telecom with some fight left in them, but there's just too much gold on the side of Invictus Gaming for them to win that fight. In the end, the inhibitor does go down 13 minutes into this game, and they can retreat to that Infernal Drake.
SKT tries to make it about 5v5, but IG no protects the VIP. If JackeyLove is free autoing and unimpeded, impossible to see them losing anything resembling a fight. They can even follow their control ward line down to the Infernal Drake spawn.
Well, SKT at least get to far mid lane. It's going to be hard to keep sieging through there, but IG can, of course, keep the pressure on. We can watch that fight. This TP flank results in a 2-for-2.
All right, Faker flanking around on the bottom side, does go for Rookie. Him and Klid are able to get it with the knock up there very nicely. And he honestly almost gets Ning as well, but Balon's there able to peel, and JackeyLove has the axe in the air.
2-for-2 is way more than you'd expect with the gold lead that IG had put together. But JackeyLove takes the kill. They still get the objective they were setting up for in the mid lane inhibitor, and also backing away to the Infernal Drake. Mercurial Scimitar and another BF sword is completed. That's more lifesteal and even some more ability to persist through the fights. I see a hand signal there, Freak.
We're down to 3 auto attacks.
Oh, good.
800 damage per Q for Jackie Love. He does a lot. Sorry, 600 damage per auto attack. It is a lot of damage here. And Teddy, that's 3 autos and he's dead. So you've got to really respect this. Even Faker won't last too long either. As you can see, IG keep the pressure on. Mid will push by itself. Bot tier 2, the target.
It's not like there are only squishies as well on Invictus Gaming. They've got plenty of crowd control that they can use to protect Jackie Love. So this makes SK Telecom's job so difficult, and why they had to get that really good flank from Faker in order to even get some kills in that mid lane fight.
And scenarios like this are actually more tricky than you might realize at home, because at 14 minutes, who can deal with super minions pushing into the base? That's something that you don't normally have to think about. So they're holding on to those minions pushing in mid, and they're trying to take a second inhibitor already.
Looking at the kick flash, puts them back over. They get the stun. They get a lot of damage. It's a single kill on the one side. Traded back now as Rookie dies yet again. But the rest of the squad could keep pushing. A good stun for Faker, though. Gets back out, buys some time. Will they find more and they're re-engaged? They've still got the cannon coming around the map. There's 4v3. They will push forward. And Jackie Love just lifesteal takes the entirety of SKT. Finds himself the second kill. Gets number 3 as well. And now look, 1, 2, and you know number 3 is gonna kill him, but he's chasing for a little bit more. There it is, the triple kill and as many auto attacks. 13-5 on 2 Nexus turret.
And we're pre-16 minutes into this game. Invictus Gaming are going to finish it.
Not since Bangkok Titans got crushed 4 years ago. Invictus Gaming smashed the world record. They smash SKT, and IG are 4-0.
15 minutes and 57 seconds was the last time that I saw before the Nexus exploded. Absolutely insane.
What an emphatic victory for IG. We talked about the storylines of Rookie versus Faker and Clid trying to profit after a great earlier game. But so quickly from the level 1 was Jackie Love the star of this game, stacking on BS sword after BS sword. Sona Tarek first appearance for Korea. Definitely not a successful one.
Well, if you wanted to get home early, IG did you a service there. What a game. Yep. I see 16:01 on the screen when the game freezes, when the Nexus falls. Maybe that's the official time. Regardless, that's a record you might never, ever see broken again. The old record was 5 minutes longer, and that was, I think it was SKT on the dealing side of that one. Receiving end here.
Yeah, I mean, unsuccessful, definitely an understatement for the first Sona Tarek of Korea. That was the most emphatic win that we have seen. However, that still leaves me curious of what a normal game or a best of 5 would look like between these two teams.
And you know, for an SKT fan, for a Korean fan, that's all you're left with. But the resounding question marks of being rolled over that easily, yes, you can try to hold on to that, but it feels like it might go through your hands very quickly.
And Invictus Gaming, though, 4-0, and it is still a double round robin. 6 games to play for the number 1 team right now. SKT at 2-2, a bit shaky, but they did play the top 2 teams so far, and there's more room to come back up. That rematch going to be exciting in a couple of days' time as well. But for more on today's action, let's head over to Quick Shot and the analyst and MSI Cooldown.
Thank you very much, and welcome to MSI Cooldown after day 2 of Group Time. Quick Shot joined by Raz and Azael. 16 minutes and 1 second, the quickest international game in our history as far as we've been tracking the stat. I mean, it's phenomenal, it's shocking, it's surprising. What else is it, Azael?
I mean, it would be insane if this was against Fengbu Buffalo. They just did that to SKT.
Yeah.
That was Faker. Right? Like, that is the most mind-blowing part about it to me. Not that this happened to a team, that this happened to the team. This is the 3-time world champions. This is the greatest player in League of Legends history, and they got absolutely trashed.
We thought this was going to be like top 2 of the tournament, like between Invictus Gaming and SKT. And I was really hyped just seeing Sona Tarek locked in, because like SKT trying that out against the best of Invictus Gaming. Invictus Gaming have never went up against a Sona Tarek composition. This hasn't happened in the LPL.
No, it hasn't. And of course, it started with some craziness. This is, by the way, the quickest first blood in MSI history, actually beating the previous record, which was set during the play-ins earlier this event. It then goes to level 1 teleport. It then goes to Jackie Love getting what was an 8-minute bloodthirster. And 8 minutes later, the game is over. I mean, despite Faker trying, the game was lost around him.
Yeah, I mean, they just did such a good job. You saw Ning everywhere. It's the bot lane dive, then it's back to Faker a number of times, taking him down. And when Jackie Love's that far ahead on his Raven, we have all played that game in solo queue where he gets the Bloodthirster that early, and you're like, great, I hit all my skills, I'm on top of him, and he's still at full health. Like, you just can't outdamage the healing.
SKT legitimately, after that point, did as well as they could. Irelia rotated bottom side when there's a second dive looming over, another huge building wave coming in mid lane, and then guess what? Invictus Gaming said, okay, we recognize you, but we still are going to bull you right over.
So I have two questions that come from this. Now, you said you liked seeing SKT locking in the Sona Turret.
Yes.
I did not. I was sitting backstage, I saw a command, and I went, this isn't an LCK thing. This isn't something that I've seen a lot. This isn't something that I associate with the Korean players. So what is it that you did like? And obviously the game was lost, irrelevant of the champions, right? But like, why do you appreciate their attempt?
It's the same reason why we kind of talk about Invictus Gaming going out and like trying new things, being as bullish and aggressive as possible, is because this is you trying to learn as much and gather as much information going into the best of 5. A lot of eyes for us were going on to how valuable Sona Tarek is, and it's going to work against, you know, the most aggressive team in the tournament. And while the answer is no, for me going into this tournament, I was like, well, for certain, SKT and Invictus Gaming, I'm almost guaranteeing them going into the best of 5. They need to learn these lessons before we find themselves going into IG. And so for now, we're saying, that's insane. But if you're thinking in the future, then SKT is saying, okay, in drafting situations, we're just not going to go for it.
You know, my question is just like, I think I understand that, you know, the idea of like feeling out the meta, of trying different strategies, of doing all these things. What is the lesson you learn when you're seeing games like this against IG, where it's like, okay, well, they're just too good?
But then what do we learn? Because, Azale, you and I were sitting backstage and we're talking about our hopes for this matchup. You know, I personally wanted to see SKT look competitive against IG. I was hoping for IG, G2, SKT to be the top 3. After I've seen what IG have done to the entire competition and the plethora of styles they've employed, whether smart or not, I mean, what's your big takeaway as far as the leaders and the favorites for the tournament? Can anybody even contend IG?
I mean, I think not with the performances that we've seen in the first half of the round robin. I think we're going to have to see teams significantly step up to really be able to challenge them. Certainly, you know, in the G2 game, there were drafting issues. You know, that was kind of taken on the chest by Grabs. He was saying that that was his fault. So we'll have to see, you know, if G2 can kind of match up better against them in the second round. Certainly, SKT fans are going to point to the Sona Tarek and say, well, things went wrong from the very get-go. But I think regardless of the draft, teams are going to have to play at a higher level to really be able to match, because we have seen, you know, how many times, 5-6 times of Rookie versus Caps now. Rookie has slaughtered him every time. Rookie has just looked a cut above every mid laner, and the Shy, I would say, has looked a cut above every single top laner. And when the game is so centered around solo lanes and taking over the enemy jungle, at this point in the game, it feels like you have to play better than what you showed if anyone's going to challenge them.
That's why I would highlight that in my G2 matchup. I think if you can get past that mental block, prioritize the lane a little bit more, certainly you have Jankos who's going to be there by your side. I would expect that to be a much easier matchup if they prioritize that. So for me, I still have a lot of faith in G2 in that best of 5. I still think SKT can also handle them as well. So I think the tournament is still wide open when we get to that best of 5.
I mean, interesting when you think 2 of the biggest competitions to IG both went for bold decisions in draft that did not pay off. I want to go into that in a moment, because after today's results, Invictus Gaming, they're still undefeated in first place and on track to defend the LPL's titles of MSI and Worlds from 2018. Just behind them, G2 Esports, they went 2-0 to end the day. They're in second place and ahead of Team Liquid and SKT, who will be facing off tomorrow. Before we talk about tomorrow's schedule, let's stick with some of the results from today. Obviously, 6 hours ago, G2 versus TL for the first 20 minutes. I was nervous. I was anxious. Impact was playing that Aatrox, and there was trades, blows for blows, back and forth. And I got quite excited seeing what TL brought to the table during the early stages of the game.
I was really excited. I think for me, what I took away from this was G2 came in smart, understanding they can split the sides of the map and really challenge Impact to carry. And then you're right. I was also surprised that, you know, Impact came in strong. Teleport to the bottom side of the map to really get himself and secure that lead. But then, you know, side lanes started opening up. I really enjoyed how G2 always matched the Silas there with the Akali, and so you got to see that play earlier.
But Raz, if you step back from the like minutiae of the game,
yes,
what's your takeaway from Team Liquid, who was the underdog going into that matchup, and G2 maybe, because I thought they would have had a more convincing win, but you know, it was very competitive for a long time. Or maybe Azael's jumping in.
Go for it.
I mean, I'd still say it was very convincing. I think on the side of G2, yes, there were some bright spots certainly for TL. I think the way that, you know, Doublelift and Core JJ were able to play in some of the mid-game fights worked quite good. I think Impact both to the Shy and Wonder better today than people expected. Those certainly were positives. But let's be honest, I mean, Caps destroyed that game. He absolutely ran over that game. It was still, you know, a 30 or so minute victory. There were perhaps opportunities, I think, for TL to maybe get back in it. But I think what is so impressive about G2 and what has really stood out to me is not just the way that they are able to individually outplay matchups and get advantages, but it's how they move those advantages around the map. When you look at G2 against SKT, we saw it against Khan with Wonder, you know, the whole game plan, Caps and Yankos up to top lane, Jace is super fed. He's not just sitting in that lane, he's going by, he's taking that turret. Then he goes mid, he takes that turret. Same thing happened here with Caps. Yes, Impact is strong. Well, guess what? Salus is even stronger, and now he's in your lane. Now you're forced to ult. Now you're stuck under your turret. And they just move their advantages around the map so well, and that is what's most impressive about G2 for me.
In that specific instance, when Impact has 2 kills, then I look towards Xmithie and say, you know, protect Impact and push him forward so he has an open lane to work with. Then he can rotate towards these plays. You need Impact working with you. And what we actually saw was a 3-man dive topside with, you know, Xmithie working towards the bottom side of the map. If you have your top lane as your highest priority, you should be flexible enough to then play around it. But it seemed like Team Liquid, they're not used to playing through Impact when he's strong, and you got to see that.
Yeah, definitely the case. And I mean, I think when you look at some of the stats that Impact has put on the table, he was one of the big question marks coming into the tournament. And after 2 days of gameplay, my eyes are going to turn a little bit more towards Xmithie and some of the decision making. He's been caught out a lot, and it's put Team Liquid further behind than maybe it needed to. But these are problems that can be resolved, you know, day to day.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think he had a very poor showing today, especially I think the Hecarim game was pretty egregious, you know, giving over those early kills. You know, being spotted, he tries to gank mid lane, then he goes to Scuttle. They know exactly where he is. Mid is pushing for both, you know, mid is pushing for IG, bot is pushing for IG. Of course, you're going to get collapsed on and actually taken down. So that one was pretty bad. I will say that they did pick scaling jungle matchups in both games, and he was kind of on the weaker end of that. So maybe some of the adjustment will be, hey, I can't actually get away with this against these junglers. They are too good to be playing Sejuani and Olaf. They're too good to be playing Hecarim and Rek'Sai. And maybe TL will put more priority on getting a stronger early game jungler.
That's why I have some faith in them going into the second phase of the tournament, where I still think that you know, looking in video review sessions, if I'm Xmithie, you could definitely find points that you can get better. In that Hecarim game, I like the Hecarim pick. Like, personally, I think you can do a lot more with it if you was able to just hard clear towards, like, Krugs and topside. Like, that is an opening for you. Or if the team decision on that one, because ultimately it's like, how do they want to perform in the tournament? Does Xmithie on carry junglers, or at least better matchups, then playing through Jensen, is that a better strategy? Personally, I think that would be the case. Like, Jensen is playing so well in this tournament, it's better to bring him up.
Well, let's take a look tomorrow, because you mentioned the second half of this tournament. We'll see whether or not Team Liquid can bounce back tomorrow. They'll close out the first round robin by taking on SK Telecom, who are both sitting at 2-2. Then later in the day, we'll play Flash Wolves Invictus Gaming, SKT G2. Let's start, first of all, the two teams that are 2-2. We've seen some shaky performances from both SK Telecom and Team Liquid. But if there were ever a time to surprise SKT, after a 16-minute defeat at the hands of IG, surely there's some advantages of a Team Liquid to capitalize on.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's completely fair to say TL has played better than SKT in this tournament. I think that TL has actually been more competitive in both their losses than SKT were. They were absolutely dominated by both G2 and IG. Yes, TL handily lost those, but they were more competitive games at least. It was not so one-sided. And they were quite clean against both Flash Wolves and PvB. You know, they play a similar style, and if SKT is not playing, you know, up to their kind of lofty standards that we're used to, they are certainly approachable for TL. You know, TL can take this team, I think, you know, in a late game.
I would push that to in the sense that for SKT, when I saw both, like, 2 of the games where they were falling, the first game of the tournament when they went up against G2, I think that was, we all like talked about how a drafting decision that Klid, while he played well in the early portions of the game, the rest is like, there's not much I can do here. While in this same situation, it seems like when they were pushed to the wall with the Taric and Sona, they literally had no wave clearing options, no damage options. The Sona is like, I just keep going into the mana pool while Draven's just going wild. So I think I would still say that SKT is certainly the stronger team going into that matchup, but both teams have breathing room. both teams have a very similar style of being able to go for a more elongated game. So you ain't going anywhere near a 15-minute extravaganza.
Give me some closing thoughts before we wrap out the day. What does Team Liquid have to do to beat SKT in your mind?
To me, I want to see Olaf or early game jungler specifically on Xmithie and for him to continue to play through mid. If Jensen's going to continue to perform, then you have yourself a bridge to the late game so Doublelift can come in.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of more of the same sort of style that we've seen from TL. They are a similar style team. I want to see them having a defensive pick generally for impact. I think as long as he's drawing pressure and surviving in lane, he does best when he's spending his resources down to the bottom side and helping there. I think as long as Jensen is in a favorable matchup against Faker and you have some sort of strong early game jungler, so it can't just be your lanes getting run over when you can't compete in 2v2. That is certainly a way in for TL. And to your point, I mean, I think SKT is the better team, but I do think in this tournament, SKT has played worse. And it is only 4 games thus far, and we've seen Korean teams have weak group stages and then come over and run over a tournament. SKT, if I recall correctly,
feels different this time.
Finished 4th in the past at an MSI, then went on to win it. And I do agree it feels different because we're coming off of Worlds in which everyone's like, yeah, well, best of 5s are coming. They're still going to slam us.
Yeah.
And then they didn't even get to semis, right? so it feels like for the first time, it's more real and people give more credence to when the Korean teams are struggling and having issues. They're like, ooh, well, maybe they don't.
It's also, it just feels weird that the team that is absolutely dominating right now does it so frivolously and so carelessly. When you think Invictus Gaming, undefeated, gave 50 kills in a 33-minute game to Fongvu Buffalo, just took down SK Telecom, the 3-time world champions, in 16 minutes. And that's less than 24 hours apart.
Yeah, you're going to be going up against a different beast when you go into best of 5s. Like when I watch Invictus Gaming, domestically in their best of 3s in the regular season, you're like, I have no faith in this. You're like EDG is better. TOP, you're willing to throw it all away just simply because when they go up against these different teams, they're willing to take every fight. Willing to throw all their brain away in a sense, but then they go into the best of 5s.
But they still got the hands.
They got the hands. The hands are still moving. But then you go into these best of 5s and they play so intelligently. Like their vision control spikes up. Baolan and Ning move so well together, so they still have the mechanics quite obviously, but it seems like they really are honed in and focused.
Well, I can't wait to see who can contest Invictus, and I certainly hope somebody rises to the challenge. For myself, the casters, and the entire broadcast crew, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for more of MSI 2019.